Hey guys, welcome to another episode of See Behind Closed Doors. As you should already know, I'm your host, C, your absolute favorite. And today we're going to be talking about BII awareness. And our guest for today is.
Hello, I'm Danitza Ladwig, and I'm here to hopefully help some women out there that might need it. So I'm excited.
Yes,
Yeah.
you have a personal story related to BII awareness.
Yes.
Yes. Give me a time zone. Well, about what year?
Yeah. So back in like 2010, 2011, I underwent a very significant weight loss. I lost over 122 pounds.
Oh,
And around 2012, I met my ex-husband. And at the time, he had a roommate who had a girlfriend who was a bikini model.
mm.
And she had beautiful breast implants. And I was just really in admiration of her. And after my weight loss, I realized that maybe I needed to kind of replenish some of the weight that I lost in my chest area. And so she inspired me to kind of research and discover maybe contemplating getting plastic surgery and getting some implants. So it was around that time, 2011, 2012.
So could you explain to the people what BII stands for?
Yeah, so BII is actually breast implant illness, and it's a term that I didn't even know existed
Me either.
until 2020. So keeping in mind this was 2012, back when I really wanted to consider plastic surgery and consider getting the implants. And keep in mind as well, hers were absolutely stunning, beautiful, what you imagine fake boobs to look like as a bikini model.
Bikini model.
Yeah, and I didn't want that. I wanted to just be a little bit more natural, but a little bit more low key. And so I ended up consulting with her surgeon, and he was very reassuring that no, it's going to be, saline, not silicone, and the safer option. And that's ultimately what led me to that decision, was just to kind of feel like me again, a part of me that I thought I had lost back at that time.
So I guess illness is what's the key word. So when did you first start noticing that something in your body didn't quite feel right?
Yeah, so it was a few months after surgery. I actually became pregnant with my first daughter, and then got married, and then became pregnant with my second daughter. So in 2015, that's when I first started noticing the symptoms. And I thought maybe it was like I'm a new mom and I'm just tired. So the first symptom was chronic fatigue. I was tired all the time. And then I started developing low-grade fevers and muscle aches and joint pain. And I was like, what is happening? Like, this doesn't seem like normal postpartum or new mom kind of, feelings or symptoms.
Yeah.
And I just immediately kind of was like getting red flags and thinking, okay, something's not right. But I pushed it aside. I'm like, it's probably because I'm a mom and I'm tired, and, kind of went down that route.
Yeah.
And then one day I discovered I had some skin lesions that just appeared, low-grade fevers. I couldn't walk up the stairs without feeling winded. And I'm like, something's not right. So then I had reached out to some doctors, and they all dismissed me. They ran labs and tests and everything. And they're like, you're normal. Everything looks normal. Everything looks good. You're just a new mom. You're just a hypochondriac. Like, that's what I'm thinking, that they're thinking, that you're a hypochondriac. You're just, whatever, and just completely dismissed. And so I was like, this is not it. So I went through the holistic approach, and I contacted a holistic doctor who diagnosed me with fibromyalgia. So for those who don't know, fibromyalgia is sort of like an autoimmune condition where the symptoms are very similar. So they're very much like joint pain, and almost like you feel like lightning bolts going through your body. And I was like, I get that. Like, that's crazy. And the fatigue. Then one day I developed a growth on my back, which is a benign tumor. The doctor diagnosed it as a lipoma. And I'm like, that doesn't sound like fibromyalgia. That sounds like my body is growing tumors attacking, like, basically my body was attacking me from the inside out. And I was like, okay, I don't know if it's fibro. I don't know what this is, but that's kind of what happened when I was like, this is not right.
So at least did your surgery. How was it? What was the experience? Let's backtrack. What was the
Sure.
experience with the actual surgery?
The implant surgery?
Yes.
So the implant surgery was fine.
Mhm.
I had, my doctor was great. The implants, like I said, I had in for 8 years. So the first, I want to say 3, 4 years, yeah, it was all right. Nothing. uh, Keeping in mind after I got pregnant, when you get pregnant, your body changes, and so everything kind of grew, and it just kept growing and growing. I was like, these are getting a little bit too big. It cosmetically, it wasn't necessarily what I had envisioned when I first got them, put in, but over time, I thought, well, this is just part of having them and being a mom and all the things. And it
Mhm.
wasn't until I started getting the symptoms that I was like, I didn't really connect the dots until something miraculous happened in 2020. So,
Did you feel, because I'm hearing you saying you reached out to doctors, they checked you. At some point, did you feel like any professionals were taking your concerns very seriously, or did you feel that they were
no,
just brushing you off?
yeah, not at all. Pretty much all of them were brushing me off. I will say my doctor that did diagnose me with the fibromyalgia, she was super sweet.
Mm-hmm.
But even she didn't connect the breast implants to what was going on with my body. She just was convinced that it was the fibro, and then the doctor that diagnosed the lipoma on my back, which I still have, by the way, and I'm still detoxing from that, trying to shrink it naturally. Yeah, it's gone down a lot. And for modeling, that's something that I'm very aware of,
Mm-hmm.
for like taking pictures and things like that. So, but yeah, no, the doctors, pretty much every single doctor just dismissed me. And I found that after discovering BII and discovering the women that have BII, it's a lot more common than people realize.
Mm-hmm.
And pretty much across the board, their doctors dismiss these women as well, until that one doctor, that one opportunity was like, hey, maybe it's this. And then it changed their lives, which it changed my life. So
Yeah.
that's, yeah.
So, how did it emotionally impact you going through this experience? And I see that you're saying, you model now. That's how I met her, by the way,
Yes.
at a casting call.
Through a fashion show.
Right.
Exactly.
We just gravitated towards each other. But just being cautious, or maybe it can, I'm sure it would cause some type of insecurity.
Yes.
Being a model is supposed to build up your confidence, and that may make you
Mhm.
feel some type of way. So emotionally, over the years,
Mhm.
how were you impacted by this, and are you still emotionally impacted by it?
So modeling wasn't even a thing back then. It
Yeah.
wasn't even on my radar. I was actually a professional photographer.
Mhm.
So for me, it was trying to come up with the stamina, the wherewithal to carry equipment and go on photo shoots. And I couldn't do it. It was too much.
Mhm.
In addition to that, being a mom, trying to keep up with my kids. My ex-husband at the time was the one taking the girls to the park and doing all the things that I wish that I could do, and I couldn't. So that led to really deep depression,
Mhm.
just despair, just feeling like a foreigner in my own body, and I couldn't explain it, and nobody could understand it because they weren't experiencing it.
Right.
So it was very isolating and just emotionally taxing. Since then, now, no, I feel amazing. I feel great. And I will say that the explant surgery, which I did get, made me kind of appreciate life to where now I am modeling and I am pursuing things that I never would have thought of doing back then because I didn't even think that it was an option for me.
Mhm.
And now I'm like, well, I'm going to make it an option. I'm going to take control back that I lost all those years. Um, I'm getting them back now, which is nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel much happier. I feel like I have a second chance at life, really, a new lease on life.
Are there any other surgeries that you're considering getting after this experience, or you're completely done with
Nothing cosmetic, and I will say this as a disclaimer: I have nothing against cosmetic surgery.
Right.
Like if it works for
you? It
other
works for
women,
you.
oh my gosh, like live your best life.
Yeah.
You do you. But I'm just, for me, I know like the one takeaway that I have discovered is really listening to my body.
Mhm.
And that's very important that I want to share with other just people in general, not just women, but really listen to your body because our bodies are so intelligent.
Yeah.
And like,
It's here to keep you safe.
yeah,
You
and that's the thing is, when even all of the professionals in the world tell you everything's fine and there's nothing wrong, but if you know, like in your gut, in your intuition, and in your body that something's not right,
all right.
that you're probably correct.
Yeah.
And just really advocate for yourself.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing.
So this doesn't change how you look at beauty whatsoever, or anything like that.
Not at all. Beauty's subjective. And for me personally, like I think as a former photographer and just in general, my life, the way that I live, like I think everything is beautiful.
Yeah.
So I have this newfound appreciation for myself, just in a natural way. Like even my hair, I used to be a hair model and my hair was all different colors. And so I've experimented with lots of things that I think are beautiful. And, I just turned 45 and I still wear glitter and
You look good.
thank you, all the
Look
things.
good.
And so for me, it's like, to me, it's if you feel beautiful, then you will be beautiful.
Yeah.
And that's how I approach life,
And you are beautiful.
Thank you.
Do
How are you?
Thank you. Do you feel that, because I'm sure as women, we often go through this just being insecure. Society puts a lot of pressure on what's the beauty standard,
Yeah.
which is why I asked you that. But like you said, it's subjective and everybody's beautiful in their own way. Now that you've experienced that, I don't know how I really want to ask this. It's almost like before maybe you looked at your body like it was a problem because you've seen another woman's body, and you admired her body. How do you look at your body now versus how you looked at it then, if that makes sense?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's always some level of body dysmorphia
Yeah.
that I will openly admit that I probably will always have, just because I did go through that significant weight loss. And the way that I lost the weight was busting my butt in the gym and in eating correctly, So for me, it took about 2 years to do. So seeing my transformation from I was almost 300 pounds to where I ended up at the time, I still saw myself as 300 pounds almost, And every now and then, even now, even today, I catch a glimpse of myself and I'm like, ooh, and then I have to remind myself, like,
do
I
that.
really do. And it's not so much a comparison. Like even with my, the beautiful young lady who had the implants, who is a bikini model, like she's stunning and gorgeous. And I know that there's no comparison because we're all individual and we all are very unique. But there is some level, as women and society of maybe just kind of admiration, and then that could lead to a little bit of self-deprecation. So to try to prevent that, especially being a mom of two girls, my goal is to teach, like the inner beauty and all of that, but to really teach just like love yourself for who you are and just express yourself and be okay with knowing that like you don't look like this person, and that's the point. You're not supposed to. You're supposed to look like yourself. And I think that once you are confident within your own being, then that's going to be magnetic. That's going to attract the people that are going to be more in alignment with who you are. And the rest of them, they have their own people, they have their own circle, and that's okay.
Yeah, I agree with that statement. Were you scared? Because I find myself where, like you said, I have nothing against anyone who gets these surgeries. If it works for you, it works for you. Me personally, I've never had a surgery a day in my life. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you. Thank you, God. But I've never broken a bone. I've never had to
That's awesome.
nothing. Even with my teeth, I'm like, I only had one cavity. They went to the dentist. I was freaking out, like,
that's good.
You're doing what to my mouth? They were doing a root canal procedure.
Yeah.
And I was like, So I can imagine someone cutting me. Like, pregnancy scares me. Y'all should know that. 'Cause we had an episode about teen pregnancy. all those things, just going to the doctor scares me,
Sure.
period. So were you scared before you actually went through the procedure?
Yeah, I was.
Um,
Because, you go under anesthesia, and so that's always something that, there's risks and complications that could, come out of that. But no, the surgery was fine. I think the recovery was and is with surgery some of the thing that people don't really think about that's really tough
yeah.
because you just were cut open, so you have to kind of treat scars and
Yeah.
sutures and all the things, and then you're very sore. You feel like you went through like a car accident or you got whiplash, like
Yeah.
kind of crazy. But it's very temporary, of course. And then once you heal, you know, inevitably you're supposed to be good. It's supposed to be all good, and that's the ideal,
Yeah.
for women that choose that surgery. So
Yeah, I would definitely be scared. But you guys hold that thought. We're going to go on a quick commercial break, and y'all come back and tune in to the rest of whatever we have to talk about. Hey guys, welcome back to this episode of See Behind Closed Doors. Thank y'all for hanging on tight. Hope y'all enjoyed your little commercial break. I'm just kidding. But yes, let's get right back into the topic. As you can see, my guest brought a souvenir for us
I brought my
today.
souvenir.
Yes. I don't know if
It's hard.
y'all
It's hard to see, but they are my implants in a bag.
Yeah.
They're completely dried out, flat as pancakes. They're not filled in, but those are the culprits. That's it. Yeah.
And it's a label on there.
Yes. So this was the label from the explant. The surgeon, after I had the explant, they obviously had to label them, and then the nurse was kind enough to say, "Here you go, you can take these home." At first, I didn't want them, but I'm glad I kept them actually because it's very helpful.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it basically says my name, the doctor's name, and then the explant date, which was 2020.
Mhm.
So the initial symptoms I started feeling in 2015. So it was about 5 years of symptoms until I eventually got the explant. The reason why I chose these particular implants is because when I had my consultation for them, and I explained, I don't want the big fake boobs. I don't want them to be all, like that. I just want them to be really natural.
Mhm.
Because of my height and my stature, the doctor recommended that I do saline instead of silicone and low profile. So these particular ones, they're more flat and wide as opposed to like round sort of softball or baseball. So I don't know the terminology, but that's what I had gotten. And I was sort of informally reassured that this was the safer option.
Mhm.
But of course, the bags are made of silicone. Even though they were filled with saline, they're still silicone implants at the end of the day. And so for 5 years, the silicone from the bags was what started leaking into my bloodstream. And that's what was causing all of the symptoms.
Oh man.
Yes.
I have a quick question.
Sure.
Because I'm intrigued.
Sure.
Did they look more with the silicone inside? Did they look more like plumpier?
Yeah, so these are completely deflated. They were saline. So saline is like, when you get an IV at the doctor and it's filled with, it's basically that's what they were filled with. And so when they were in, they were a little bit kind of like water balloons, really.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it's 2026, so these are 6 years old. So they've evaporated, and I don't know how they've been completely enclosed in this bag.
right.
I have never opened it. I never will. But I guess the silicone ate the saline.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what was happening inside of me. I don't know.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
very interesting. I was just wondering because I've never, this is my first time seeing them.
Like implants?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow.
Yep.
I wonder what they look like when they were fresh.
And they were pretty big. They were pretty big.
Whenever you.
Yeah, I was size H.
Chest
size. Yeah, after now keeping in mind when I first got them implanted, I was a double D.
Mm.
I was a D prior to the weight loss. then a double D after, which I thought was great. You know, I was a little bit bigger than I was before. And then after 2 pregnancies, they grew and they just wouldn't stop. And I ended up being an H cup size, which was very painful
Yeah,
in itself.
I don't think I know anyone that wears H size, so this sounds very uncomfortable. What was the decision process like for removing these implants?
Yes, so God is miraculous, I will say. One day, my ex-husband was on Facebook, and through a mutual friend of ours, she had posted, or I think shared a post of another young lady, another woman, who had described every single symptom that I had, like to a T. The fevers, the skin lesions, the everything, the fatigue, like all of it. Being dismissed by doctors, the chronic inflammation, all of it, and then revealed that she was diagnosed with breast implant illness. And I was like, what is that? Like, what? And she told her story on Facebook, and I was like, this is a miracle. That sounds exactly like what I have. So I reached out to her, and she's actually my friend to this day, super sweet, and actually helped me through the journey of, I went through her surgeon that she used for the explant. He specializes in BII, and he's at least at the time, back in 2020, was a very big advocate for really educating women who had made the decision to get implants, who were feeling these symptoms, to at least visit the idea that they might have BII based on their symptoms. And so once I realized, if I don't get these taken out, I could die.
Yeah.
It was a life or death choice, decision. And implants are expensive. Explant is expensive. So it was a significant financial investment. But my girls need their mom, and that's what I kept thinking back then. I was like, I can't imagine having that be my my demise.
Your way out.
And it was during 2020, so it was during the lockdown. It was during COVID. It was actually when I had my explant. So thankfully, again, through the miraculousness of it, I was able to use that time, because we were all in lockdown, to do the research and to kind of like get all of the information that I needed, prepare for the surgery, and then just go through with it. And I sent you some pictures, but I had taken a selfie because I was documenting a little bit of my journey, because I don't know, something inside of me told me, record video, take pictures of yourself, because I might be doing something like this one day, to help other women. And immediately before and immediately after surgery, I snapped a selfie, and you could see
I've seen it.
Clear difference.
It's a clear difference.
Like because when you go through surgery, you're under anesthesia, you're pumped full of the IV, and so you would think that after surgery you would look bloated and inflamed and like you just had surgery.
Yeah.
I didn't. I looked like I just got back from the spa. It was crazy. And
your skin looked so bouncy.
Yeah. My eyes were white. Like everything was clear. It was crazy. And then more importantly than just how I looked, I felt like $1,000,000. I was like, I want to go for a run.
Right.
Like I just wanted to just go, because I missed all that time. And the recovery was a little bit intense from the explant, but from that moment, I mean, thanking God every day to this day that I made that decision. It saved my life. It really did.
Like she said, you have to listen to your body. If you don't mind sharing, how much did you pay for actually getting them implanted and getting them out?
That's a great question. I looked at the paperwork. I don't remember exactly, but it was at least 12 grand for each surgery. Now, of course, insurance and payment plans and all the things, come into account, but it's thousands of dollars. It's not cheap.
Good.
It's like buying a car twice, that's what it is.
Did they go through with you on like the care for them or keeping them up? I hear a lot. I don't know, guys. I don't know. I'm just going based off of what I hear, but I hear a lot when you do these cosmetic type of surgeries. There's a lot that goes into taking care of them over the years. People who get BBLs and all different types of, they say all the time. Later on, they either regretting it or they love it,
Yeah.
but they always state that there's some type of care. What were instructions that the doctor gave you as far as the care for them, like once you were done?
When I had them in?
Yeah,
Or,
when you
okay,
had them.
so it's pretty simple. As far as like no strenuous activity or anything like that, like immediately after, but throughout the years, just to go in like maybe once a year to get them checked out for like the first maybe couple of years. But it was more of a recommendation than a requirement. After that, it's like you're on your own. Good luck.
Oh, wow. Let me know if you have problems.
Yeah, and then of course, once I started not feeling well, I didn't even think to go back to that surgeon or to that doctor to be like, hey, maybe something's wrong with these. That wasn't even a thing. I was like, it's something completely unrelated, but it was that after all. So.
And what about when you got them out?
So when I got them out, it was similar because there's obviously scars and you had to put some cream and massage and do all the things. And because they were taken out, it was a little bit different. So when you have implants put in, the most important thing is just kind of leave them alone. Let them kind of settle in. They so that your body forms its own, like, it's kind of gross, but own capsule around the capsule. So once I got them removed, my left one was mildly inflamed. So when they had to remove that capsule from the left one, and then when they removed the right one, the recovery time, it was a little bit more of massage therapy to try to regrow some of that tissue that was like dead. You know, it's gross, but that's reality.
It's the reality. This is behind closed doors.
We're raw, we're real. So yeah, and that's what happened. And so, but I will say since then, I love like how I look. Like I love my chest. Like I'm so grateful. Like there was no disfigurement, like nothing. They looked like I never had surgery.
You never did anything. I was gonna ask you that. Do you still have scars?
They're light. They're very light. They've gotten much lighter over the years. And of course I use like, jojoba oil and all the things. And as I'm aging, I'm just constantly hydrating and all of that. So that helps too.
Yeah.
With scars over time.
Are there any misconceptions you think people make about getting breast implants? Like, I'll give you mine. Sure. So maybe I'm just young-minded. I don't know. But I was thinking in my head, I'm like, you told me that you were carrying your baby and you had them in, right? And I'm like, well, can you still feed your baby with them in?
Yes.
I used to always think about that, and I'm pretty sure other women want to know that. Like, does it affect how you're nursing your child?
So for me personally, it did not impact the ability to nurse, but what I will say is these were implanted under the muscle.
Right.
So I still had all the mammary glands and everything intact. But because of that, because I did nurse both babies and they kept growing to the size H, they became just completely, I don't want to say disfigured, but they were a lot differently shaped than when I first got them implanted. They got engorged, they became longer. It was almost like they were like two footballs just hanging.
Oh.
And not to be graphic, but that's what it looked like. And so it was heavy and it was painful and I had to get special bras and it was crazy. Oh. But yeah, I was able to nurse and I think that's what made it probably worse.
Are there any other misconceptions? Like, what are the ones that I've seen a couple of videos where it flips? Is that a different?
That's possible.
Is that a different? Is that these, or is that like a different, like the silicone that you talked about?
It could be either or. I don't know. So don't take like I don't want to give medical advice on that, but I will say that I have heard of that happening. It's just a woman's body rejecting however it wants to settle in, and when the capsule goes around the bag, sometimes it just naturally will kind of rotate it to where the cells that attach want to attach in a different spot. That's what I think about it. I don't know.
You can flip it back. yourself?
I don't know about that. I'm sure. I mean,
Listen, I'm going this.
I don't want to try that, but my goodness, yeah.
Did
that
they
was
ever
crazy.
flip for you or no?
No, they never
No.
flipped. They just turned into two big. I call them torpedo, but like two big footballs. So I was like, this is not it, you know.
Yeah.
But again, like if I wasn't feeling any of the symptoms,
Mhm.
I probably would still have them in today and just deal with it, you
Yeah.
know. But just because it is an expensive surgery and it's, you know,
Yeah, you invested.
yeah, and I was like, well, let's make it work. But no, thank goodness it
Mhm.
didn't work out because I don't have to deal with that. But for the women that do have that, I couldn't imagine. I don't even
Yeah,
know.
that would scare me.
It's like painful.
Oh my God.
Feels like it's inside
What?
out. Yeah, yeah.
Immediately going
Yeah.
to the doctor. Um, Before we go, what would you want women who are out there considering implants
Mhm.
or suspecting that they have BII? What do you want them to know?
Sure. So for women out there considering implants, just do your research. Research all of the pros and the cons. Don't just talk to one doctor, one surgeon. Don't just talk to your girlfriend who has implants and tells you how great they are and then convince you that that's what you need. Really do your research. And then for the women that have implants that are experiencing the symptoms, or maybe they're not even experiencing the symptoms, but they don't want the implants anymore, or they're concerned that they might develop BII over time,
Mhm.
is to reach out to surgeons that do have knowledge and expertise in it and that are advocates for helping women do explant. Um, that's my biggest advice on that. And the biggest takeaway I would say is really just advocate for yourself and listen to your body because your body knows.
Yep.
Yeah.
It could be a life or death situation. And I want to end that off with please continue to love yourself. Stop comparing yourself. Like she said, everyone is unique in their own way. You're not supposed to look at like everybody else. If God wanted us to be robots, He would have made us robots. Okay.
We'd be like those Waymo drivers.
Yeah. We look different for a reason. There's beauty in every woman. You're always going to see another woman that has certain, you know, a certain look, a certain aesthetic that you probably don't. But at the end of the day, we see things all the time as women where we're like, oh, I wish I had a butt like that, or
Sure.
she has wide hips, and then maybe yours are like this, or I love my small because I can wear
There
anything.
you go.
I love it. And then you have women who have bigger breasts and they fill in their those gowns that like go like this and they be all plump. I love that look. So just embrace yourself a little bit more. Love yourself a little bit more. You're unique in your own way for a reason. And always remember that you always have something that somebody else wished that they had or that they are inspired by or they would want, but just love yourself at the end of the day. Spend more time in the mirror and not talking down to yourself. Talk positive. Be nice to yourself. We all have our insecurities. I used to be insecure about my feet, my forehead, all types of things, or just gaining weight. I have high metabolism. I hate the fact that weight does not stick on me whatsoever. I have to eat way more, so everybody has their thing. So just love yourself. And if it's something that you just truly, truly can't stand about yourself, then do whatever you need to do to change it. And I would suggest try the healthier way before you just venture off into something else, surgery or anything like that. That's definitely what I would advise. But it was so nice having you. It was so educational. I'm so glad that you brought this because I'm amazed. This is my first time seeing this. We really enjoyed you. You look very, very beautiful, by the way.
Thank you.
And I look forward to doing more shows with you, interacting with you, shoot some photography.
Yes, we're gonna do some photo shoots.
Some girls' time, something. And I hope y'all enjoyed this episode. We'll see y'all on the next one.
Thank you.
Bye.